Welcome to Game Night in the Region on the Region Sports Network, streaming live on the internet at regionsports.com, facebook.com/regionsports, and youtube.com/regionsports. We come to you tonight from Lake Central High School as the Region Sports Network presents the Crown Point Bulldogs taking on the Lake Central Indians in a DAC Girls Hoops Showdown. Michael Brenner here on hand for the play-by-play, and joining me with the color analysis is my guy, Isaiah Gransberry. Isaiah, always excited to be with you on a basketball call or football or whatever the case may be. Ready for a good one tonight in the DAC?
Yes, we are, and it's a pleasure to be here, and a pleasure to be here in such a special occasion.
Yeah.
It's, lots of alumni have made their way to Lake Central for a special night where they're honoring the 1994 state championship team. So we're going to be in for a good one.
Yeah, a lot of dignitaries in the audience today. They're also recognizing the AAU programs of the Lake Central School Corporation. So a lot of fans on hand here. And, of course, that trek from Crown Point, not too bad as you make your way over to beautiful St. John, Indiana. So a lot of fans from the Crown Point side as well. You got two teams or two programs, we'll call it, that are just bursting with a lot of excitement. Obviously, Lake Central coming off of a very nice run in the postseason last year, making it all the way to that semi-state championship game. That little change of format, you have to win two games in semi-state. Really getting through South Bend, Washington. That was kind of the game of the day, and then just kind of ran out of gas in that championship game. And then obviously Crown Point, not the year that they won it last year, but in the postseason, but coming off of a state title team a couple of seasons ago. These are two programs that are really putting girls basketball on the map here in the region.
Yes, two of the best, and we talked about it before the broadcast. Both teams have had various very high caliber players to represent them at the next level, and Crown Point being the most recent with Jessica Ruthers and Elena Santiago, and also the Stoddard sisters. And then you look at Lake Central, they've had various, the Lauren Ladowski, Rachel Robart, Lauren Smolin, lots of them, and they're all here in attendance tonight, so it should be a good one with a lot of passion behind it tonight.
Everybody coming out for this one tonight. Can't wait to get this one started. So we'll start with Crown Point here a little bit. 9-5 on the season, winning a game against Morton earlier this week. And I was going to ask you, as kind of in the coaching world as you are, so Crown Point played on the 13th, getting a win over at Hammond, and then they get to come a pretty hostile environment here at Lake Central. It's been a little while since Lake Central played. They haven't played since the 9th. Could that have a factor in the game, do you feel like?
It could. And the biggest reason is because of the just amplitude behind the game.
Yeah.
You know, that might not be the right term, but tonight's game is a rivalry game.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everybody knows Crown Point and LC, top two girls programs in the region year after year. And so to have that break, you always wonder, are the girls focused? Have they been putting in the work, you know? And when you have a game and you have that competitive environment, it's easier to compete night in and night out. But we'll see soon enough.
Yeah. And that game that Lake Central played, by the way, over in Illinois against Chicago, they number 4 in the state of Illinois. So not a bad win over there. But yeah, Crown Point playing recently, getting it going, been a little up and down. Had a 3-game win streak a couple of times this season. But when I'm talking to Chris Seibert, he's excited about where the program is going, because you got a lot of youngsters in this potential lineup. When you look up and down the whole roster here, he's excited about having some of these younger players, getting these experiences, getting these minutes against a really good Lake Central program. So that's something to look forward to if you're Chris Seibert.
Yes, indeed. And Chris Seibert, you mentioned lots to look forward to. He's 234 and 125 in his 15th year coaching, and 175 of those wins have come at Crown Point. So he's looking forward. He probably expects his girls to be ready to win night in and night out.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I know he's pretty amped up. When I had a chance to talk to him, he was talking like 1,000,000 miles a minute. He's ready to go. He's amped up. He's excited. Same thing with Coach Helpenthal. One thing he's looking forward to this season, better defense. He's excited about that. That's what they've seen a lot this year. They're averaging about 60, just to take under 61 points a game, and only giving up 37. So we'll see what comes into play here a little bit later. We're going to step aside for just a moment. When we return, we'll bring you that starting lineup for both Lake Central and Crown Point. On the other side of the break, you're watching Game Night, built by Von Tobel on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strachan Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual cart, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strachan Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strachanvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. I'll cover your motorcycle. I'll be with you on the water. I'll be with you on the snow. I'll cover your insurance needs wherever you go. I'll be at Crowell Agency from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, the insurance professionals in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City.
From schools to stadiums, hospitals and bridges, everywhere you look, union carpenters are building Indiana. With jobs and skilled trades in high demand, there's never been a better time to start building your future. As an apprentice, you'll earn a debt-free college degree, earn while you learn, and receive great benefits like healthcare and retirement. So what are you waiting for? Visit carpenters.com to learn more. Visit carpenters.com and start building your future today.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Michael Brenner here along with Isaiah Gransberry. Happy to have you along with us for a little DAC action here tonight. The Lake Central Indians taking on the Crown Point Bulldogs. Girls basketball varsity action right here on the Region Sports Network. And we told you about all the dignitaries, all the pomp and circumstance that kind of goes with this game tonight. And we're also competing for hearing, I guess, with the band here. We're hopefully they won't overpower us too much. But it's always exciting when the bands are here. Have a little bit battle back and forth. Always love when the bands are playing, though. It gives you that college atmosphere a little bit, especially in those big rivalry games when you get big student sections going on and stuff like that. So always fun to compete against the rival schools. Excited to bring you this one here on the Region Sports Network. Let's take a look at Crown Point just a little bit. As we said, 9-5 coming into this season, and they are led by Ava Zakowski, about 6.9 points per game. I'm sorry, I'm looking at that wrong. 30 points again. I'm looking at different little defense, and I'm like, that seems like a low number compared to what I heard. She just put up 55 the other night. 30 points a game. So obviously the leading scorer for Crown Point. So she's going to try to get into the paint as much as possible and get her outside shots as well. But how do you, if you're Coach Huppenthal, what are you going to do to try to stop that?
You probably look at putting some length on her, and I could see a couple different matchups, but primarily Anaya Bishop starting out guarding her. It gives her some length and makes her have to work a little extra to get around her or shoot over her. So it's hard to say. Sports are very unpredictable, but we'll see this matchup very soon.
What are you talking about? These aren't scripted already? You don't have you don't have your script all ready to go? I'm ready for this. Also,
wait, let me go grab it.
Ava Zokowski, by the way, became the 8th player in program history to reach that 1,000-point club, and we're going to have a chance. We're going to have some of those dignitaries that we talked about for Lake Central. They're going to come up and join us, and we are going to have a 1,000-point scorer join us here a little bit later on in the broadcast and kind of see what that means. What does it mean to be a 1,000-point scorer in a basketball team? Because it's not an easy thing to do. Like I said, she's only the 8th player, and you think about how long Crown Point has been playing. Only 8 individuals have been able to get to that 1,000-point club on the girls' side of the basketball roster. And we'll talk about Lake Central here in just a moment. We're ready to bring you those starting lineups for both Crown Point and Lake Central. By the way, only 5 players for Lake Central have hit that 1,000-point mark. They have a player on their roster that just did that not that long ago as well. And we'll talk about Anaya Bishop that you were talking about as well. As everyone is getting ready for the national anthem. So we'll make that Wonderful turn toward us. You got to love it when they all stare at us because we're right below the American flag here at Lake Central High School.
Smile and wave, boys.
I'm not going to wave. I'll smile. That's fine. As the announcements are made here at Lake Central. I'm sure there's going to be some familiar faces out in the crowd that you'll get to see. So for Lake Central, their leading scorer coming into this one by just a small percentage is Nadia Clayton, 10.3 points per game. But there are two other individuals at double digits in terms of points per game. So Nadia's at 10.3. You got Anaya Bishop at 10.1 and Ayla Krieger at 10.2. So you're talking about just marginally differences in terms of some nights being able to score a little bit more than their counterparts. But three players in triple digits, not too bad. As we tune you into our national anthem. Rendition of that national anthem by the Lake Central Pep Band under the direction of Candace Boone. All right, we're going to take a look at the starting lineup for your Crown Point Bulldogs, if you're a Crown Point fan. First out onto the floor, number 11, Ray Holak, a 5'4 senior. Then onto the floor, number 13, Sophie Hart, a 6-foot sophomore. Number 22, Madison Dubiel, a 5'4 senior. And now number 24, the one we were talking about before, Ava Zilkowski, a 6'1 senior. And number 25, Olivia Otten, a 5'5 senior. So there's your starting lineup for the Crown Point Bulldogs. And now for the Lake Central starting lineup. And the lights will go out here at Lake Central. They've gotten a little bit more theatric over the years here at Lake Central. Kind of feels like Maryville for a little while as they have a little hype video that they'll have. I hope our camera can maybe pick that up a little bit. It's kind of tough placement there, but a nice hype video that they've got for the girls' basketball season. I believe the boys' side as well. Have you been here for one of the boys' games?
Yes.
They got a hype video as well.
Very electric, and it's cool. It adds another element for the players to get excited about before the game.
Well, it kind of feels like, back in the days of going to the Bulls games and you get the, now. Yeah, the fans here at Lake Central have been proud to come and support their Lady Indians, again, making that great run in the postseason last year all the way to semi-state championship game. The big hurdle for them, they felt like that year was going to be taking on South Bend, Washington, who one of the top teams in the state, and played a really, really close game in that semifinal and the semi-state, and then the championship game in semi-state just came up a bit short. And you talk to some of the, I talked to Coach Huppenthal before the game, and I kind of said, what does the pressure feel like? He goes, these girls don't feel the pressure this year. They're just going out. They want to win games. That's their goal. I mean, the schedule also looks pretty tough down the road. I said, is this your toughest schedule that you've had? He goes, yeah, this is tougher even than last year. I mean, you're going to Bedford North Lawrence. You got Jennings County, and you got these tournaments, these Hall of Fame tournaments coming up as well. That's a big deal for a program like Lake Central.
Yes, indeed. And I think throughout all the teams, all the years I've been following these teams, that this team is the most capable because of how many players have put in the work, and I'm not saying that other players haven't.
Correct.
But the years that they put in, we're looking at a lot of girls that have been starting since their freshman year.
Correct.
So I think that's going to pay them heavy dividends, especially come March.
Starting lineup for Lake Central out on the floor, number 23, the junior, Vanessa Wimberly at 5'6". Then you got Riley Malosnik, the senior, at 5'7". Number 4, Nadia Clayton, the senior, at 5'8". The recent 1,000-point scorer, number 33, Anaya Bishop, the senior, at 5'10". And then Ayla Krieger, number 35, the 6-foot junior, your starting lineup for Lake Central. And if you look at Lake Central throughout the years, as you mentioned, you've been starting since freshman. This lineup is your core that you've had for about 2 years now, a year and a half even. There's a lot of chemistry, a lot of, everybody understands where everybody's going to be, and that is so pivotal late in a season when hey, maybe I got a little bit of exhaustion. I know my teammate's going to be in this spot. We run it so much. So we're ready to tip things up here. We'll tell you our forecast in just a moment, and it's tipped to Lake Central to start things up here in this game as Nadia Clayton will shoot for 3. Bounces off the iron. Riley Malosnik chasing it down, giving it up to Wimberly. Cross court to Krieger. Here's Clayton again for 3. She knocks it down the second time, though.
Great ball movement to start, and it's highlighted by that hustle play by Riley Malosnik. Great job to save that pass and keep the possession alive.
Certainly trying to keep that one alive. And those little things are differences in a game. Trying to feed this one down to Otten on the baseline. Can't feed it to her. So it'll be a turnover. Lake Central, or they're saying it was tipped off of Lake Central, so it'll stay with Crown Point. So wait for an inbound here. Otten will inbound. We'll see who they get it to. Zokowski would be the obvious choice here right in front of her. They're going to go cross court to Dubiel, who's going to take it right across the timeline there. Has to stop, picks up her dribble, gives it up to Otten now into the corner with Holak. Holak around the perimeter trying to feed in now to Hart, trying to skip this around. 3-point shot to try to answer, hits off the back iron. Zokowski with the rebound, it gets out of her hand, and there's going to be a foul early on here. Looks like it's going to be against Anaya Bishop. Nope, I take that back. It's going to be against Nadia Clayton, I beg your pardon.
Great tough rebound by Ava Zanakowskis. And, you saw the size differential right there. Clayton did a good job trying to box her out, but she just overpowered.
Our officials for today, Anne-Marie Keller, Fred Schub, and Craig Fought. We'll give you that game night forecast in just a moment here as Otten trying to get out of this penetration here. She's trying to get into the lane, kicks it out. Again to Dubiel, who gets it into Zokowski off the window and puts it home. Point of emphasis is trying to keep Zokowski off the glass as Krieger tries to put one up from long range. She's no good on that one.
And it looks like Lake Central's tried to counter her recent scoring attack by doubling her in the post. So we'll see how long that holds up.
And we'll have a foul there against Bishop this time as Zokowski was making a little cut. We'll take this time to tell you that our game night forecast is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Tonight's forecast, a very, very comfortable mid-40s degrees, about 44, 45 degrees. It was closer to 50 when I walked into the building today.
I'll take 50 in December.
Heck yes. And that is your game night forecast brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. So again, the foul was on Anaya Bishop. Here's a nice cut right to the basket. And for the lead, Madison Dubiel.
Great high screen at the elbow to open her up and allow her to get that easy bucket toward the basket.
So Crown Point on top. They've seen that for many years under the direction of Jessica Carruthers and Lily Stoddard and the Santiago sisters, as you mentioned. Riley Malosnik puts up for 3. It's no good. And now we'll have a foul here. So this is something that's going to start to build for Lake Central here right off the bat. I mean, they're 3 fouls to none. You're 5:53 left in the game. And this is building, and we start shooting free throws at 5 fouls now. That time it's on Ayla Krieger for the foul. So just like that, 3-0 in terms of fouls. This is a turnover here, bumping it in the air. Vanessa Wimberly trying to keep this one. And they're going to say it is going to be it's going to be Lake Central basketball. Good crowd on hand here at Lake Central. Get the pep band in motion. Good student section for Lake Central as well. As you can see, a lot of fans under the basket on this side as Riley Malaznik rattles one down.
Great catch and shoot shot right there by Riley Malaznik.
Dubiel right in the line there. Walking a little bit of a tightrope, and this one in the air. Going to try to swing this one. You talked about ball moving earlier. Otten drives to the paint. Yeah, we got a charge. Riley Malaznik planting her feet.
Wow, that's 3 possessions that she's made an immediate impact on. You talk about the save at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
That 3-point basket right there, being ready to catch and shoot, and then the hustle play. She has all 3 checked off of a coach's box. That's everything a coach wants to see right there.
You know, you're such a company guy because that segues into the Crowell Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game that we will name after the game. Crowell Company's proud to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court. Bishop feeding over to Clayton. Now Krieger, then the ball movement here. Wimberly on top, trying for a 3. It's no good. Rebound comes down to 13 there. That's Sophie Hart for a Crown Point. Feeding this one ahead off the press. Trying to feed it into Zilkowski. Nadia Clayton ripping that one away and giving it to Ayla Krieger. Trying to feed this one ahead to Malaznik, but it's going to get out of hand. And it's going to be a turnover here. So 6-4 still in favor of Lake Central. A couple of 3 balls for Lake Central from Malaznik and Nadia Clayton. Zilkowski feeding all the way down, and Wimberly is going to tap that one out. They're trying to feed it all the way down to Zilkowski. Almost left her asleep over there.
Great hustle down the court by Wimberly. She's one of those that we mentioned that has been very active on the Lake Central women's basketball roster since her freshman year.
Dubio feeds it in here. Now she gets it back, top of the key, trying to swing this one. It's turned over. We talked about the defense. This is something that Coach Uppenthal was excited about. We got a blocking foul against Crown Point. In the paint, couldn't get those feet set. And it's going to be against Madison Dubio, her first, team second. So just as we're talking about Lake Central going on a 3-0 run for fouls, now it's a 2-0 run for Crown Point. So Wimberly to the line. This is the first knockdown. I'm thinking back to a couple years ago, and I'm sure if Coach Huppenthal were listening at the moment, he would politely ask me to not mention this, but that last matchup in the final season of Jessica Carruthers and playing here, one of the things that was kind of a point of emphasis that kind of played a factor in the game was missed free throws in that one. So 1 of 2 on that line there as Otten underneath and gets to the window.
Great cut. That was another cut that led to an open basket. Crown Point taking well advantage of the lane cuts right now early on.
This is what Malaznik does well. Hits it from outside. Give her 2 triples. She's got 6 of Lake Central's 10 points. Trying to fight through this press. Otten will grab it here. And we have a timeout taken by Crown Point. We were getting close to that 10-second call.
Very close.
But it'll be a timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout. So we will keep it right here. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Team Toyota's takedown time in the region for Carnahan Classic at Crown Point High School. See some of the best wrestling programs, not just in the state, but the country. Coverage begins at 9 a.m., and Region Sports will be live throughout the entire tournament. You can view coverage on Facebook.com/RegionSports, YouTube.com/RegionSports, and RegionSports.com. Team Toyota's takedown time in the region on the Region Sports Network, where the region comes to wrestle. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Crown Point, we talk about Crown Point athletics as a whole. Obviously, football team made it to state, but wrestling team, past 10 years, by far one of the best programs in the state.
Yeah, you are sending guys nationally to all sorts of top collegiate schools when it comes to wrestling from Crown Point. Yeah, a lot of success recently over in the Hub City. I feel like I'm starting to call it the Turf City more because everything is turfed over there. Baseball fields. What a feed down to Zilkowski. A little high-low action and right underneath.
Great focus at the basket. Good job.
Little skip pass into Krieger. Wimberly in the corner now. She's going to skip it over to Malaznik. Going to have a little bit of a drive. Feed it over to Bishop. Now kick it over to Wimberly, who gets left alone. Rattles around, doesn't fall, out and comes up with the rebound. Iwema has checked in for Lake Central. Lexi Iwema is, well, a foul here. This time it's going to be likely against Vanessa Wimberly.
That'll probably be her second.
A couple of check-ins here for Crown Point. We'll announce those in just a moment. Waiting to see that number that pops up for Lake Central. I thought it was going to be against Vanessa Wimberly. They haven't put the number on there, though. Yep, it is hers. And actually, that's just her first, Isaiah. So Crown Point possession here. Let's see. I check the numbers that checked in here. Jillian Brown has checked in. Got to check the other numbers. Zukowski still in. Bishop gets the steal, though. Sophia Newell has checked in for the Bulldogs. Trying to get around a little bit of a body there, and Bishop. Anaya Bishop with a bucket.
Anaya Bishop, she's a name that we'll probably say quite some time. One of their 3 double-digit point-per-game scorers at this point in the season, and just a great all-around player.
Gia Kajanis has also checked in for the Bulldogs. Yeah, Anaya Bishop recently this season becoming the 5th player in program history here at Lake Central to join the 1,000-point club. And if you're wondering who the leading scorers are for each school respectively, I know this will come as a very big surprise to you, but Jessica Carruthers leads it for the Bulldogs. 2,331 points as Kennedy Burks comes up and gets it off the window.
Yeah, Jessica Carruthers having the 2,300 points was a coffee conversation this morning with a friend, and that's just so astounding at any level. At any level, 2,300, I believe, 21 around that points.
Yeah.
It's just such an amazing feat. But that, and just knowing how many successful players have come through Crown Point as well, just great.
Long range from Malaznik again. It's no good. Bounces around. Crown Point comes down with it. But the point I was trying to make earlier is that these two programs have put this one blocked by Krieger. Holy moly. Trying to feed it up to Bishop, who will have a little contact here. Gets it on a reverse. Anaya Bishop puts that one home. And we'll have a timeout taken here by the Bulldogs. It'll be a full, so we'll step aside for just a moment. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Some see a student athlete working on a shot. We see a powerful lesson in persistence. Some see a student preparing for success on an exam. We see a student athlete preparing for success in life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Mike Brenner here along with Isaiah Gransberry. And Isaiah, one of the points that I wanted to make a little bit earlier is the fact that you were having a cup of coffee kind of conversation and talking about girls basketball, I think is so important in putting girls basketball on the map. Obviously, it's been around for a long, long time, but I was talking to Coach Seibert about this too. There's just certain things that they're starting to overcome, certain stigmas they're trying to overcome and show just how athletic these games are and how incredible these games are in a lot of ways.
Yes, and to your point, this gym is pretty big, and
yeah,
this crowd is great. This is an amazing crowd for a Friday night game here in the region with a lot of great games going on tonight.
So Crown Point with the basketball, and now Jillian Brown with that one, and Vanessa Wimberly going to pick up her second foul. And she gets a little contact with Brown on the wrist there, maybe a little bit of a hold. And one of the things that, you know this as a coach, you like when officials come over and explain, hey, what happened? I want to be able to teach this. I want to be able to say, hey, don't do this particular thing again. So when officials can come over and talk to you about those things, that's just signs of a very quality official.
Indeed. And, you know, a lot of people forget that IHSAA is about education-based learning.
Oh, yeah.
Part of education not only is in the classroom, but it's on the court as well. You're learning a lot of skills that you're going to utilize in life on this court, and the officials do a great job of enforcing it.
And we got a little bit of a tie-up here underneath the baseline, and that's underneath the basket. That's going to be a foul on Zilkowski. That'll be her first. Because she had fallen to the ground and kind of got under the feet of Alexei Wima.
It's like Crown Point switched over to a 3-2 zone.
Yeah, we've seen that a little bit here. That's what allowed Vanessa Wimberly over in the corner to be wide open. Just kind of moving that defense, these quick passes. We'll see a big pass here as Bryn Leonard trying to get one from long range.
We talk about Jessica Carruthers and Alina Santiago both being Indiana University Northwest players currently. Bryn Leonard, she'll be attending the Indiana University Northwest next year as well.
I was just going to say, and you've been helping over there at IUN,
yes,
and keeping your eyes on someone like Bryn Leonard, trying to feed that into Zilkowski. She loses the possession, and there's Leonard there with the steal as Kennedy Burks brings it ahead. Molosnik thinks about trying for that three, but she drives to the lane. Bryn Leonard there. Bryn Leonard gets the rebound, tries to go up, and she's going to go to the line. A very underrated part of basketball, Isaiah, is when you get that rebound low, going straight back up with it. Because sometimes, you know, not everybody wants that contact, and I get that. But going right back up is almost like 99.9% of the times they foul.
Yes, and that's why a lot of coaches emphasize going up quick. Because the reaction time to see the ball come down is everybody's kryptonite. And so being able to get it, go up quick to avoid the defense reacting is always huge.
Now, the interesting thing is they say that it was on the ground in the foul, so we are not shooting free throws. So Lake Central will pass it in underneath their basket with 16.5 seconds in the opening quarter here. Clayton dribbles with the right hand, dishes it out, and they'll swing it around the perimeter here for the final few seconds, trying to get maybe one more bucket before the quarter comes to an end. Down to 3, and it gets stolen away for Crown Point. Down to 1, almost turned over, and the quarter will come to an end with Lake Central up 16-9. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strachan Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual card, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strachan Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strachanvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. I'll cover your motorcycle. I'll be with you on the water. I'll be with you on the snow. I'll cover your insurance needs wherever you go. I'll be at Crowell Agency from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, the insurance professionals in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Happy to have you with us for a big-time action as the tuba players having a good time over there right behind the student section and jumping around. At least I assume those are tubas. I don't know the exact name of all the instruments, but we're going to go with tubas for now. Close enough, right?
Either tubas or baritones.
Stepped out of bounds there, and that is called Sophie Hart. Nope, I beg your pardon. Gia Gajanis stepping on that baseline there. Just trying to set down a pivot foot and do something. So Lake Central here with the possession. Just started the second quarter here. Swinging it around, Anaya Bishop. Kennedy Burks. And the chemistry for these two teams has been incredible all season long. And you really see it here with Lake Central. Fighting hard as Clayton trying to make her way to a basket. Ball is loose. We got a lot of players hitting the ground here. This one feed. What a look. Down to Riley Malosnik.
Great take, great take.
And we're going to have a guest join us on the broadcast here. I'm going to make sure, Justin, we have her headset plugged in. Everything good on that front? All right. Well, we are happy to have us join right here Christina Diviak. Christina, welcome to the broadcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you on a pretty illustrious night here around Lake Central. A lot of dignitaries, much like yourself, and traveling from near and far to get here. You made all the trek from where?
From Boulder, Colorado.
From Colorado to get here. As the pass comes in here to Dubiel here, just under 7 minutes to go here before the half. Now, you're going to get recognized here at the halftime, Christina, because you guys did something important back in, 93-94 season, right? Is this one into Zilkowski, who gets it off the window and in?
Yes, that was the year we won the championship.
Yeah, the state title team for Lake Central, only one in program history. So we're going to get your thoughts. What do you remember about that season? What have you been reminiscing about already as Kennedy Burks hits one from outside?
Well, it's great seeing my teammates and reminiscing about how we got there, just having those conversations, how much hard work it took and what, how did we do that?
This one hits down from long range for Gajanis. So trading threes back and forth, 21-14 your score. So what's one of those favorite memories that you've been reminiscing about as Krieger hits from outside?
What's interesting is that a lot of times I remember sort of the hard stuff, the stuff that was really painful, all the running and all the extra stuff that we had to do that we dreaded.
You mean Coach Majesty made you guys run? Are you kidding me?
We played a lot of minutes, and I don't know if they still do it now, but the regional, the semi-state, and the state weekends were 2 games a day, and so we had to be in shape. There was no way around it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different format now. So regionals is only the 1 game, semi-state is 2, and then state is just the 1 game. So a little bit less efforts than you guys had to deal with. But you also have a little bit of other notoriety here at Lake Central. You are still hailed as the all-time leading scorer here at Lake Central. I have the note here. You scored 1,867 points. And I know you remember every one of those.
I do not. I don't, but that's interesting. I didn't realize it was the record stood. A lot of great players have come through.
Yeah, absolutely. So first on that list all-time of scorers here at Lake Central. Only 5 of you in program history have had the 1,000 mark eclipsed. And Anaya Bishop, who's down there on the floor, number 33 right now, as this one is fed to Riley Malosnik, trying to feed one up there. Can't get it to go, and we're going to have the ball going the other way, so Crown Point ball. What does it mean as a player to score 1,000 points in your career?
Honestly, I don't know. I think.
I mean, do you even think about it in season?
I didn't really. I have the ball for my 1,500th point that somebody gave me from, I think it was a Hall of Fame Classic. Okay. And so I sort of remember that one, but I don't want it to sound like cliche or anything, but I don't really remember that. What I think about more is like our team stuff.
Yeah.
Our victories. Winning the regional championship was the first regional that Lake Central had ever won. So that was big.
That's true, as Krieger gets called for the foul here, not happy with it. I know that's something that's changed too. As soon as you got called for a foul, you were very stoic, I'm sure, yes. Right? You never argued with the officials, anything like that.
No, our team, we were actually literally just talking about that, how it's different now with the NBA and the college players are a little more animated than we used to be.
Well, and you get to see that. I mean, you're coaching at the high school level over.
And speaking of coaching, I mean, you talk about your experiences as a player and as a coach so far. What has impacted your coaching career from your playing career?
Oh, I mean, that's a great question, because like, how do you translate that, and how do you there was so much mental toughness, I guess, that you had to have as a player to win a championship, and like trying to teach the girls how to be resilient, how to take tired out of the vocabulary, how to find the energy when you don't have it, how to pick your teammates up when things are really going badly.
Yes, and we talked earlier on the broadcast about how the IHSAA is education-based learning, and these are all things that apply in the real world, and so I'm sure you can attest to that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is why people in the real world want to hire athletes, because they know how to work on a team, and you know how to work through stressful, chaotic times and stay calm and get through it.
3-point shot put up, no good. Sophie Harden connected on her free throws down here at the other end. Here comes Vanessa Wimberly trying to drive inside. She's going to go to the line and shoot 2. Yeah, because, I think some people forget. Coaches are not just coaches out there on the floor to go draw up X's and O's for plays. Your parents in a lot of ways, too, in trying to teach skills other than just what's on the basketball court, how to be good citizens and good people as well.
Yeah, these teenagers are dealing with so much on a day-to-day basis, and it reminds me of what it was like. You come to practice after school, basketball might not be the first thing on your mind, maybe your chemistry test or, friend drama or whatever it might be, and, you have to help them figure out how to put that behind them and focus, and, usually playing on the court helps get through some of that. You feel better after some endorphins.
That's
exercise.
That's it.
Now, you are also enshrined in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame as well. I know this is probably uncomfortable for you, but we're going to talk about your accolades here while you're here. Talk about what that means, and then it's my understanding that your dad is also in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. So tell me a little bit about how that feels for you individually, and then how to share that kind of moment with your dad.
It is such a huge honor. I was at the Hall of Fame for our team's induction, and then for the silver anniversary team, I was inducted. But this is the individual honor, and it's huge. It feels really. I'm just really honored that they chose me or to induct me. I was at my dad's ceremony several years ago and listened to his speech, and it was just really cool to hear all the stories about him and meet all the people who knew him and watched him play. And so it was something he really wanted for me. He passed away last year, so he didn't get to see it. But, I know he's really happy about it.
I'm sure. Well, and then I hear your daughter is a pretty fine basketball player in her own right. Is that correct?
Yeah. I have twins, a boy and a girl.
Okay.
And, they're both on their path right now. And my daughter had a great summer last year and was getting a lot of recognition, and was a finalist for the USA Basketball national team for 16 and under last year. So she's got her eye on that next year.
Definitely some basketball in the blood, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very fun. And my husband coaches the boys varsity team, coaches my son, and I coach my daughter. And
so basketball year round sounds like.
We try to talk about other things. We do.
Well, and you're natural on the broadcast, but that's because you have to talk to other people as a coach, so it works out really well. And then I know you went over to Northwestern, I believe, correct, and continued your collegiate career there. So I got to ask you, kind of stayed kind of in the area. What brought you to Colorado?
Well, we just were looking for a little change of pace, and my husband liked Colorado. He did a lot of fly fishing in college.
Oh, there you go.
And so I told him I'd give it a year, because I might need to come back to Chicago. But we've been there 12 years now. So
okay,
we found a great community. The weather's really nice, but it's always amazing to come back here.
Excellent.
Although this gym looks nothing like it.
No, I mean
the one I played in.
Now the field house that you played in is still across the way. It's still there. It's just got a way different look compared to the gym you played in. Very
different.
And that's something I should ask as an alumni. Like, just what do you? I mean, these amazing facilities that Lake Central has. I mean, I'm a Lake Central alumni myself, and I kind of watched that whole transition happen. So it's kind of just everyday occurrence for me to see it. But someone who's been away for maybe 12 years and now coming back and like, whoa, this is not the school I went to.
No, it's amazing, and we were laughing because the the lights in the old field house, once you turn them off, it took them 10 minutes to warm back up to turn them on. So if there was ever an outage, we were in trouble during a game. It's the little things like that I'm like, oh God, these kids, I hope they appreciate this amazing video screen. That was a really cool video to open the game. And
steal here from Vanessa Wimberly goes up. Now, I don't know how closely you have followed Lake Central as Bryn Leonard puts one up with the left hand. I was getting the signal, though. I know you guys are gathering down there, but I don't know how much you paid attention to Lake Central making it all the way to semi-state last year in that championship game. There's a good chance Lake Central could make a nice run. They're hoping to make a nice run. What would it mean to see this team 30 years to your anniversary? What would that mean to you?
It would be incredible, honestly. Like, I just think, and just so fitting 30 years later, and also to have my teammate's daughter on this team, where they could share that mother-daughter state championship. I have a father-daughter state championship, and it's incredibly meaningful for me to have had that over these years. So I just think it's awesome. I think this team has all the talent. You know, you could see that. You can see they have the talent to do it, and they need to stay together and play together, and I think they can do it. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, they had a nice stride last year, so they're hoping to continue that, and they're doing a really good job so far this season, 10-1. Well, we thank you very much for coming up, taking some time to chat with us. Enjoy the ceremony down there. I'm sure that'll be a fun one for you. I will tell you that there are some stairs down that way, and the rest of your teammates and your coach are right there in that corner.
Awesome.
I mean, you are welcome to hang out with us as long as you would like, but Coach Freckleton was giving me the heads up that you need to head down there at some point, or at least acknowledge
it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank
Christina
you.
Diviak joining us on the broadcast for just a couple minutes, kind of talking about that 93-94 state championship team. We appreciate her taking some time on that one, as Lake Central has taken the lead a little bit higher and trying to add it even more. It's up to 31-19. And we'll have some other dignitaries throughout the evening, kind of looking at that state championship team. I know Coach Medjesi was hoping to join us at some point. We talked about that mother-daughter relationship a little bit. We're talking about the Iwemas on that one. Isaiah, as a future Lake Central star, walks by us there. Cora McCall.
Yes.
She's got a relative who graduated last year on Valparaiso, so I saw her at some of those games. Basketball runs deep here in the region.
Yes,
Love it.
It does. It does. And that's the nice part about it is, like, you see so many region athletes and region families, and they're all connected in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Where they could go off to Colorado for a couple years and then still come back, feel right at home, just because the foundation is here and the family environment is here in many of our communities.
Yeah, that's just in the region as Leonard puts up a three and knocks it down. She's got 5 points on the evening, 12 seconds to go here until the half. They're just trying to find something there as Dubiel's just trying to open up a lane somewhere for somebody, as we'll have a line change here for Crown Point. I was going to make a cliche comment about back home again in Indiana, but we're talking about the region here. I mean, we are in Indiana, but I didn't want any of us to start singing a verse of back home again in Indiana. Trying to get this one in. They give it to Otten, who loses it out of bounds, can't corral it. So Lake Central will have it with 5.9 as another line change here quickly, as they were hoping to get a possession going, and Coach Cyber said, all right, well, if Lake Central's going to have the ball, let's send some different personnel in here. So Bishop will inbound this one, gives it to Burks from the elbow, gets it to go. And that is how the quarter and the half come to an end. 36-19, your score. We're going to step away for just a quick moment. We'll have the recognition of the 93-94 state championship team for you on the other side of the break. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
From schools to stadiums, hospitals and bridges, everywhere you look, union carpenters are building Indiana. With jobs and skilled trades in high demand, there's never been a better time to start building your future. As an apprentice, you'll earn a debt-free college degree, earn while you learn, and receive great benefits like healthcare and retirement. So what are you waiting for? Visit carpenters.com to learn more. Visit carpenters.com and start building your future today.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. We're going to have the introduction of the 93-94 state championship team, and I'm looking over at the team right now, Isaiah, and they're getting a little bit of a video tribute of kind of a highlight of when they won that state championship. And I as a fan of basketball in general and watching them watch this, I'm looking at their faces. I'm getting goosebumps watching them. Can you imagine how they're feeling?
Yes, it's a great memory, and to see something so long ago, I'm sure in this moment right now it feels like it was just yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And you talk about goosebumps. Just seeing the reactions on their faces is just an amazing thing right now.
Absolutely, yeah. You're getting back to those butterflies that you had to be feeling, and probably moments of wanting to become sick at the same time. Those, once that adrenaline starts to wear off a little bit, it's got to be a big deal for a lot of these people for a lot of these individuals down there to see that and reminisce. And we're going to tune you in and get you to hear the recognition of the 93-94 Lake Central State Championship team.
The 1993 and 1994 Lake Central Indians finished their season with an outstanding 25-1. They finished the regular season 17-1, with 12 of those wins coming by 25-plus point margins. They were the Munster sectional champions, defeating Calumet and Munster, the Calumet regional champions, defeating Crown Point and Blue Wallace, the Lafayette Jefferson semi-state champions, defeating Lafayette Jefferson and Cedar, and the 1994 state champions, defeating Columbus East and Kokomo in the state finals. In doing so, they denied Kokomo a third straight state championship, defeating the Cats 44-42 to win it all. They are also the last region basketball team, boys or girls, to win a single-class state championship. They returned 11 of the 12 roster members of the state championship team in 1994 and 1995, and once again returned to the state finals. They were inducted into the Lake Central High School Athletic Hall of Fame in 2002. Tonight we have 9 players and 3 coaches from the 93-94 team back to be recognized. First up is number 23, Jill Craven Luker. Jill was on LC's 94 and 95 teams. Today she works at Mount Carmel High School as an administrative assistant to the principal. She is married to Pete Luker and lives with sons Miles and Ryland and stepson Ryan. Next up is number 31, Shannon Anderson Van Grinsven. Shannon was on LC's 94 and 95 teams. Shannon played volleyball, basketball, track, and soccer at Lake Central and was Lake Central Athlete of the Year in '96. She went on to play NCAA Division II soccer at St. Joseph's College. She graduated from Illinois Institute of Art in 2000 and now works as a professional in Boulder, Colorado with her husband Evan and 3 children, Elijah, Alexandra, and Mila. Elijah and Alexandra are being recruited to play Division I basketball. On Tuesday, it was announced that Christina will be inducted into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame in 2024. Next up, number 40, Dawn Zaney. Dawn was on LC's 94 and 95 teams. Her daughter, Chrissy Addison, was on Lake Central's 2012, 2013, and 2013 to 2014 teams. Next up, number 41, Casey Hamill Cernsich. Casey was on LC's 94 and 95 teams. Casey moved to North Carolina after graduating from DePaul University in 2000. She has spent the majority of her career in higher education, where she has worn both shades of blue, with time at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and Duke University. She currently serves as the Chief of Staff to the President at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. She also works with her husband remodeling and flipping houses, including their own. She currently resides in Chapel Hill, North Carolina with her husband, John Cernsich, and 3 children, Ivana, Joe, and Graham. Number 44, Denise Zaney. Denise was on LC's 94 team. She went on to play Division I softball at the University of Illinois at Chicago. After playing 2 years there, she transferred to Purdue University, West Lafayette, and played softball her last 2 years on scholarship, graduating in 1999. She has been a police officer for almost 19 years and is currently a police officer at the Maryville Police Department. Prior to that, she was a police officer for the Hammond Police Department and spent time with the Lake County Sheriff's Department as a police officer. She resides in Schererville, Indiana, and has many nieces and nephews, one of which plays basketball here at Lake Central. And she also has a great Dane named Elvis. Number 45, Leslie Rossa Iovino. Leslie was on LC's 94 and 95 teams. Leslie also played softball and volleyball in her time at Lake Central. She earned an athletic scholarship to Butler University to play basketball and softball. Since graduating, Leslie has been on the Lake Central faculty teaching German. She served as the head girls basketball coach from 2007 to 2012 after serving as an assistant in the program for 7 years prior. She has also been an assistant coach in the softball program. Her husband Todd also teaches at Lake Central. Today, her daughter Lexi is following in her footsteps, playing basketball, volleyball, and softball for Lake Central. We would also like to honor Amber Woods, the manager of the state championship team. Your state champions were coached by Tom Medjeci. Coach Medjeci coached Lake Central from 1982 to 2006, amassing a record of 370 to 164. He led the Indians to 11 sectional championships, 4 regional championships, 3 semi-state championships, and a 1994 state championship, a 1995 Final Four, and a 1998 4A runner-up. He was the head coach of the 95 Indiana All-Stars and had 3 of his Lake Central players selected as Indiana All-Stars, with Kelly Cormera being Miss Basketball in 1998. After Lake Central, he went on to coach at Washington Township for 1 season, followed by a 12-year run at Purdue Calumet and Purdue Northwest, where he oversaw the university's transition from NAIA to NCAA D2. He is now the junior varsity boys basketball coach at Valparaiso High School and is in his 2nd year on the Viking staff. He was inducted into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame in 2015. his assistant coach, Ann Downey. Coach Downey was the freshman coach for the 94-95 teams. At the present day, she remains a part of the Lake Central faculty, teaching physical education. She has coached a variety of sports in her time at Lake Central, including time as the girls cross-country assistant coach, where she helped the Indians to 2007 and 2008 state runner-up finishes. Lastly, we would like to honor assistant coach Keith Hopper. He was the junior varsity coach for the 94-95 teams. Coach Hopper was an assistant in the program from 1979 to 2006 and 2013 to 2014. He was a Lake Central institution, also serving as a softball, golf, and volleyball coach. He led the softball program to its 2002 and 2004 state championships and 3 other state final appearances. Those unable to attend tonight were players Stephanie Franzen Crook, Beth Bonnick-Simler, Megan McGurrick, and managers Elise Haller-Castle and Amber Woods-Kincaid. Coach Huppenthal and his staff would like to thank all members of the 1993-1994 team for taking the time during the busy holiday season to come back to Lake Central for the evening. It is a tremendous moment of pride for our program to have 3 of our program's 4 Final Four teams in the gym tonight. The 1993-94 team, the 94-95 team, and the 2022-2023 team. Our players would also like to thank the 1993-1994 team for returning this evening and for helping set the standard that all Lake Central girls basketball teams strive to attain. Ladies and gentlemen, another huge round of applause for the 1994 state champions, Lake Central Lady Indians.
And a cool moment here at Lake Central to watch these fine athletes get recognized 30 years after accomplishing such a tremendous feat. Winning a state title is not an easy thing to do, and they're going to go in for one last huddle here at center court. It might be a different court than they're used to, but man, what an honor. And getting to see some of the former players, the coaches. Of course, mentioning Coach Hopper is always an emotional thing here around Lake Central, passing away not that long ago. And but you get to see a lot of great athletes back on the floor. What a time to reminisce.
Yes, and you talk about facility upgrades. Well, facility upgrades really don't happen without a good history and great alumni, and that's a testament. So, you know, I'm sure it's a great feeling to come back to a brand new school and be able to experience, see your banner hanging up, see your trophies in the trophy case, and then see that everything's still alive and well. I mean, you still have a really good girls basketball team playing here today, and a lot of their daughters, nieces are playing on these teams.
Well, and I got to add this too. They're recognized. You got a lot of the AAU stars or players in girls basketball for Lake Central. They're here. They're watching this. A state championship 30 years ago. Lake Central poised to hopefully make a deep run this year. This only just helps add and feed the program. Coach Seibert says that Crown Point, because winning that title a couple years ago, it's really helping their numbers. And watching girls basketball continue to grow in the region has been so much fun to watch. We're going to get this in real quick. Mayor Pete Land of the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point Bulldog Athletics and say, go Bulldogs! Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in-city services, and encouraging smart growth. Mayor Land and the Pace team invite everyone to enjoy skating just steps away from downtown Crown Point at the Timothy Rich Ice Rink at Bulldog Park. For hours and more, visit www.crownpoint.in.gov. And, you know, Crown Point in a few years is going to get to have their memorable bring their team back kind of moments. In 2001, winning that state championship, and what a ride that's going to be for them. And that, I mean, it propels a program when you can do something like that. It's fun to watch.
Yes, it does. And these are two of the great communities, two of the many great communities here in the region. And to see both sides supporting history is just, it's an amazing thing.
Oh, you're tickling my funny bone there with history, social studies teacher here. All right, we're going to step aside for just a moment. You are watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Can't wait for summer, but dreading the heat because your old AC let you down? Don't sweat it out this summer. Call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. The professionals there can fix you up. Install a central air unit that'll last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable. And with a 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Give them a call at 219-923-4441 or check them out on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Michael Brenner here along with Isaiah Gransberry. We got Justin Cole and Milton Johnson on camera. Justin doing a great job on production. He's trying to keep his hearing right next to the drums here, the pep band here for Lake Central. They're rocking and rolling tonight. It's a fun atmosphere here at Lake Central, and you got a DAC rivalry matchup between Crown Point and Lake Central. And just about ready to start the second half here. And I realized as I was doing math, listening to the 93-94 team getting introduced, I don't know, I gave Lake Central 4 extra points in my book, so I missed 2 for Crown Point. So it tells you how in season I am for this keeping scores of things.
Lake Central did a great job in that first half, applying pressure and taking advantage of that applied pressure and turning them into points. I mean, obviously we got to highlight Riley Malosnik, but if they could keep that up, I'm sure we'll see much of the same this half.
Well, the defense has been the point of emphasis for Lake Central this year, making sure teams are staying off the board, and that's what we're kind of seeing here tonight so far from Joe Huppenthal's team. And we are going to name a Boilermakers Local 374 blue-collar player of the game at the end of this one. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374's Crown Point with a possession. Long-range 3-shot put down. Long-range Ray Holak. Her first points of the game. Skip pass over to Bishop. Now Clayton in the corner, fighting through the defense there. Wimberly driving inside the lane, putting up a teardrop, coming up just short, and we got an offensive foul coming up here.
That's very similar to how Lake Central started that first half with a 3-point bucket, a charge. Not if we see a ball save, we know it's on the same wavelength.
And we are honored to have Coach Medjesi here with us here to start the second half. Head coach of that 94 state championship team getting honored and getting a good ovation here at Lake Central. I think they must have missed the Valpo part of that whole introduction, so they don't remember the Valpo part of things right now.
Well,
it's Nadia Clayton knocks one down from long range. How was that? How are you feeling after that?
Very emotional. It was awesome to see the kids and young ladies. Ladies.
I was to say they're not kids anymore, Coach.
They're my kids, and they were awesome group. They loved each other. They supported each other. They cheered for each other. There was no jealousies. It's what it took to be a state champion, and they delivered. And I'm so proud that I didn't screw it up.
Well, behind every good team is a good coach, and you've certainly proven that so far. I mean, you've been coaching for a lot of different areas right now at Valpo High School, helping those guys out right now as Zilkowski gets her first bucket of the second half. She's been left kind of quiet as Nadia Clayton tries to put up another one in the corner. Zilkowski obviously put up 55 points the other night, kind of held off the boards for the most part here in this game. Have you been itching to kind of make some coaching calls out there or say anything to officials?
No.
I know you never said anything to officials back in the day.
Oh, never. I know one of the officials personally. He used to ref my games, Fred Schoib, and so it's nice to see Fred. And I'm glad we're at the Crown Point game because it was a big rivalry for us back in the day, and so I'm happy to see our girls beating Crown Point.
So you're, obviously you're still connected in the region here. So what do you think about some of these rivalries that we've seen? Obviously, this is still a good one, and Crown Point girls basketball has been really, really good for a number of years. As Bishop going up to the window there to get a point. So obviously they've had their success for a number of years, and now Lake Central's kind of turning that corner a little bit, and they've got their success, and it's great to see that's kind of making girls basketball very prevalent here in the region again.
Yeah, it is, and Chris has done a great job with his program at Crown Point, and he's a good friend of mine. And then, of course, Joe's a good friend of mine too, Huppenthal, and they both take this job very seriously and respect the players and their families, and they are committed to do a great job, and they have been.
So from the coaching aspect, obviously you went on to to coach at the collegiate level as well. What was one of the things that you brought over from Lake Central up to the collegiate level and have brought back maybe down to the high school level again?
Well, just to be patient with the players, and the kids don't make a mistake on purpose. I realize that, and so I just want to bring them along so they have confidence in themselves and try to get the most out of them.
We had Christina Diviak up here a little bit earlier, and she was saying all these wonderful, nice things about you and how, they didn't really ever have to run at practice or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, they were in good physical condition, and they had to be in order to pull off what they did in the state championship. So,
talk about that for a second. It's a lot different format. It's not 2 games automatically at every level.
We had to play 2 games to win the regional in the same day, and then we had to play 2 games in the semi-state in the same day, and then 2 games to win the state championship in the same day. And so we had to be in top physical condition. And Monday and Tuesdays, they worked out really well. We got them up and down and stuff, and then we lightened up. We only practiced like 45 minutes, like the last week before state finals, so we can get them up and down the floor and keep them in shape. And we saved their legs for the state finals, and it seemed to pay off. It was the right strategy.
Olivia Otten trying to get it across before that 10-second call and gets bailed out with a foul call against Lake Central here. 4:50 left to go in the third quarter. Do you ever look at coaches now and be like, man, you guys have no idea how easy you've got it compared to what we had back in the day?
No. No, they're doing a good job. Like I say, they take a lot of pride in their program, and they want what's best for the kids. And these 2 coaches are outstanding. They've been around for a long time, and I'm glad they're still at it.
One of the things that you were talking about, just the memories that you remember kind of on the, but what is a specific memory or a play or a situation that happened from that team that kind of maybe helped make you realize this team's got a chance to go all the way? Is there anything that kind of you remember that sticks out?
One of my players said to me, during the season, like, I don't know, close to the end of the season before sectionals and stuff, she said, Coach Medj, you need to work us harder.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So I worked them harder, and, that's the type of attitude they had. They wanted it so bad, they didn't want anything to have any excuse that we weren't in shape or something. So we came up with some drills to get them some good aerobic conditioning, and then the anaerobic conditioning, of course, running up and down sprints and stuff. And so we had them in good shape, and I think that was one of the major contributing factors to our success.
Yeah, they definitely had to stand out big time, because I know Isaiah coaches at various levels in various sports. I coach a little bit here and there. I have yet to have a kid say, work me harder.
Yeah. Well, that's what their attitude was. I mean, they were a special group, and my 98 team was the same way. But this group is very, very special to me, and it's wonderful that they all came from North Carolina, Colorado, Wisconsin, Ohio, all over the place to be here. And that makes me feel really, really special, really good.
That's awesome. And with that being said, it's like you look at the facilities now, obviously it's much different from back when you guys were playing. But what did the video tribute mean to you?
That was awesome. We loved it. It bring back great memories and flashbacks. And, all the kids are smiling. And, this just made our holiday season really. I thank Lake Central and Coach Uppenthal and Coach Gard for putting this together. And, this is just wonderful tribute to the team.
3 triples in this quarter for Ray Holak. Kind of bringing Crown Point back in it a little bit. It's an 11-point game with 3:25 left to go. So we talked about the players. I got to talk to you about your coaching staff as well. You had a tremendous coaching staff. I know a lot of them. Coach Freck is still teaching here at Lake Central. So is Coach Downey. And obviously we lost Coach Chalber a few years ago, and big loss for the LC community there. But talk about your coaching staff and the bond, because it takes a lot for you guys to bond together to have a good coaching staff like that.
Everybody had their role, and everybody exceeded our expectations. And, it was nothing about any individual. It was nothing about egos or anything. We felt, Freck and Coach Hauber and Ann, when Christina and that group were sophomores, we said, if we don't win the state championship with this group, we'll never win. So we got out the weights. We worked them hard in the summer and the season and stuff. And like I said, I'm happy that we didn't let them down, because they deserved what they got, and it was fun. It was awesome.
Well, it's been fun to reminisce. I've been excited ever since I saw Lake Central was going to do this. I instantly connected with our bosses at Region Sports to make sure that we were here to show this and emphasize this, because girls basketball needs to be talked about a lot more, and obviously just the region in general, and just to emphasize how great Region Sports is.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good crowd tonight, so I think it was a good night to be here, and I'm very appreciative of what happened tonight.
Trying to get a 3 there to try to get Crown Point back in this 10-point game as of right now. Coach, we appreciate you taking some time. You're welcome to hang out as long as you'd like, but okay.
Thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Happy holidays. There we go. One last word from Coach Medjesi right there. I didn't want to put him on the spot and make him feel old, but when he retired from Lake Central, he had one last gym class that he taught in the summer. I happened to be in that class with Coach Medjesi. Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. We talk about the region connection. It's just so cool to be around here and see different relations like that and whatnot, and see the bonds that just transpired to the real world as well.
Yeah, we were talking with Christina just a little bit about how, as a coach, and she knows this, and you and I know this, you're not just coaching what's going on the floor out there. You're coaching these kids in life lessons too, and dealing with, like she said, some of those emotions that when they come back to school or when they come to practice, the last thing maybe on their mind is about practice. So they have to kind of navigate those situations as well. Just a little point-blank range here. The pressure put on big time by Lake Central on Crown Point, but they're trying to fight back into this. 10-point game right now. Lake Central up by 10 with $1:20 left to go in this third quarter.
Yes, and to your point, I mean, it's one of those things where you realize not every team is going to win a state championship. I mean, really, I think that it's like 97 or 98% of kids that play sports won't ever win a championship to begin with. So then the next thing is the relationships. What are the children that you have the chance to impact? What are they going to take out of their experience with you? And so that's just one of the great things, as we both know about coaching, and one of the great things about what Coach just mentioned a couple seconds ago, as it seems like fans aren't too happy about that one with Wimberly picking up her fourth.
Yeah, that is her fourth foul. She thought she had a nice move to the basket, but the official calls it a charge underneath, so waves off the basket. So it's an 8-point game here. Zukowski won on the other end of the floor. And, you know, one of the basketball in general, I was talking to Coach Seibert about this and just talking about, you know, his state championship run a couple of years ago and how impactful that was for the numbers that he's seeing at the lower levels, at the, you know, the traveling leagues and the middle schools and stuff like that. And he goes, it's great because, you know, obviously all these sports are competing with other sports. You know, basketball has to compete with like baseball and football and other things, and obviously girls basketball has to compete with volleyball and softball and stuff like that, and how they can get those numbers to grow and have, you know, the teams and the athletes that they have. It's been fun. And don't get me wrong, we love watching all those sports too, and we want top athletes at all those sports. Yeah, when you're one of the coaches, though, of one of them, you want everyone on your side for sure.
Right, and that's it. Crown Point really doing a great job fighting back into this quarter, mainly because of their appearance at the free throw line.
Yeah, Brown just knocked down a pivotal free throw there, brought it within 7. 40 seconds to go. Riley Malosnik on the outskirts. Little tough 3-2 defense coming up here from Lake Central. Skip pass across. Malosnik able to keep. Burks in the corner for 3. She's had a hot hand. No good. But one big thing here in this quarter is Ray Holak with 3 triples. That's 9 points here in this third quarter alone. Here's another 3 attempt. It's just a little bit long. That would have been her 4th of the quarter had she knocked that one down as Holak. Burks with 10 seconds to go. Lake Central trying to get that final bucket to get a little momentum on their side. Bryn Leonard's been hot from 3. Kicks it to Burks, who goes for 3. Rattles around and can't go. So at the end of 3, it's 41-34. Crown Point trying to stay in it. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. As a reminder, Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Police Department are proud to support Crown Point Bulldog Athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in-city services, and encouraging smart growth. Mayor Land and the Pace team invite everyone to take photos with Santa and Mrs. Claus in the lower level of the historic Lake County Courthouse from noon until 4 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, now through December 23rd. Please bring a camera. I think we should go do that. What do you think tomorrow?
Yeah, I love a picture with Santa,
Yeah.
especially in Crown Point, Indiana.
Oh, yeah, in the Hub City, in the old courthouse where, you know, criminals escaped and all that. Yeah, why not? I love it. Ayla Krieger trying to get an outside shot here. From the basketball perspective, we've seen a lot of outside shots from both teams here. I would like to see Lake Central go into the paint. I would try to get one. You just get a couple of buckets, get some momentum going on your side.
That's one thing I've been very shocked with, that they haven't attacked more off the dribble, but the three-point shot was falling early. And I could see how intimidating Ava Kolakowski is, as well as a couple other Crown Point players that they've been subbing in off the bench.
Riley Malosnik called for her second foul of this game, especially with, you know, if Lake Central's leading, you don't need to. I feel like you're forcing up shots that you don't need necessarily. Just go up and attack the rim. Long pass right near that timeline, and she did step on it. The official was right there waiting for it. You know, one of those rules that I think a lot of people forget about is that once you establish your cell, you have to establish all three, both feet and the ball across that timeline. She had all three in front of that timeline, and as soon as that heel got there, it's a backcourt violation.
And that's one common thing in sports right now, in all sports, is that back step when you want to launch forward. And a lot of athletes, they don't realize that they do it because they want to get that jump start, and that's exactly what we saw a couple possessions ago.
Yeah, court awareness for sure. As Burks attacks, gets a little teardrop shot. Kind of what we were hoping for is Leonard trying to fight for this one, keeping it in front. We've got a scrum at the floor. Passing it ahead. Here comes Nadia Clayton all alone to the window and knocks it in. And that'll get the crowd going here at Lake Central, and Chris Seibert can feel it, so he calls a timeout. And it'll be a full timeout, so we will step aside. You are watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Hi, this is Tim down at Tire Pros and Auto Superstore, 5200 Cleveland in Maryville. 219-887-3333 is our phone number. We've been serving the region and building relationships with our valued customers for the past 23 years. We have a wide variety of services, quality tires with the best warranty in the nation, and some of the most skilled mechanics I've ever worked with. Let us exceed your expectations. We're setting a new standard. Come on down, ask for Mike or Tim. We'll take excellent care of you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Game Night on the Region Sports Network. The building is abuzz, that's for sure. Here at Lake Central, their team leads it 45-34 over rival Crown Point. A lot of dignitaries in the audience today, members of the 93-94 state championship team for Lake Central in the house, recognizing the 30th anniversary. And we were talking a little bit about, you know, Leslie Iwema was the one I was thinking about, and her daughter, Lexi Iwema, on the team playing now. You got Skirka playing as well. She was on the 93-94 team they introduced, and her daughter Kaylee, a freshman, gets some varsity minutes. Mostly JV, though. Also a member of the Lake Central volleyball team as well. And Bishop will inbound this one. As we mentioned, Bishop recently becoming a 1,000-point scorer here at Lake Central. Leonard feeds inside, kicks it out to Burks. Calling for a little bit of a reset here, and I'm looking over at Coach Seibert. He's happy with the fact, hey, we're going and we're not letting him get into the paint here. Here's what they were probably trying to do. It's been a little hard, so skipping it across. Leonard open for a three. Just off the mark, tipping this away. Krieger comes up with it. These second chance opportunities in any basketball game are pivotal.
Yes, they are, and that's one thing about a 2-3 zone. You get so focused on the inside that on those three-point shots, you give up that rebound. That could potentially lead into a second chance point, three-point bucket right there by IUN commit Bryn Leonard.
Yeah, Bryn having a really nice game here so far, and it's when you can go 7, 8, 9 off the bench and still feel like that person could even be in your starting five, you know you've got something special brewing. That's what Coach Medj felt about his girls back then, and I know that's how Coach Uppenthal feels.
Yes, and one thing Coach Medj mentioned was the selflessness of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of resemblance with this same Lake Central team. I mean, a lot of these girls, they didn't start, but they still come on the court and give it their all on both sides of the ball. And so that's pretty cool to see, and that's the qualities of a championship team.
Davis Okowski called for a foul. Here's a turnover here. Clayton in the wing, backs it up into three-point land, kicks it out, and they're going to reset. Bryn Leonard open again. Following it right back up, though, Anaya Bishop.
Wow, I'm going to run out of room on my notepad for plays of the game right now. I mean, Clayton, she's just all over the place, and that's something that you just can't coach. That's effort and heart right there.
Yeah, you're talking about that Proud Union Home Play of the Game presented by IKORCC, the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters. And don't forget to be sure to tune in tomorrow for Team Toyota's takedown time in the region for the Carnahan Classic at Crown Point High School. See some of the best wrestling programs, not just in the state, but the country. Coverage begins at 9 a.m. and Region Sports will be live throughout the entire tournament. You can view the coverage on Facebook.com/RegionSports, YouTube.com/RegionSports, and RegionSports.com. Team Toyota's takedown time in the region on the Region Sports Network, where the region comes to wrestle. Back to action here at Lake Central. Pass into Hart. Matched up against Bishop, trying to find somebody to get it to. Dubiel grabs it here, trying to get a little bit of bump forward there. This one picked out by Borg. Dribbles into triple covers there, feeds it ahead to Bishop. Now to Clayton on the baseline, giving it right back to Bishop. Goes up to the window, rolls around, and we'll have a foul called here. We're starting to lose the strong pace that this game had kind of early on in this one. Just getting a little too physical, and the refs are not going to let it get out of hand.
Yes, and one thing that's really impressed me tonight is Lake Central's ability to keep composure. I mean, these are frustrating, and it's only frustrating because it's the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Both these teams are competitive, but both teams have done a great job handling it with respect and maturity.
And we talked about that. It's going to be a traveling call there. And so these are just, obviously you had such success here at the Crown Point level, and now you've got to go through a little bit of growing pains, getting these younger players some experience and get them up here at the varsity level, and that's what Coach Seibert talked about. He's excited about it, though, because, the sooner you can get some of those underclassmen, your freshmen, your sophomores, to play big minutes in a game like this, they're going to be ready in a couple of years for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Kennedy Burke swings it around, gives it to Vanessa Wimberly, who's been one of the top players at Lake Central for a number of years now, ever since she was a freshman. She's a junior now. Bishop losing the dribble, able to keep it, though. Skip pass into the corner. Now for Wimberly, kicks it out. Krieger for three, just off the mark. So Crown Point with an opportunity here. They had brought it within 7. Lake Central has responded, though. Dubiel trying to throw up a shot. She gets fouled. And we'll find out who that foul will be against. Don't forget, at the end of this one, we do got 3 awards that we will hand out. We got the Crowell Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Proud to recognize the superhero. The Crowell Companies are proud to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court. Dubiel misses the first, and I know you're looking over at my sheet to see what the point values look like. I wouldn't take too kindly to the point totals here because I know I'm off somewhere. I mean, we can go roughly kind of where we're at here. I got too excited talking to our guests on interviews. I quit paying attention.
That's awesome, and special thanks to all of them for taking the time out of their special evening to come chat with us.
Yeah, coming from near and far to be here tonight to recognize the state championship team. Lake Central going to try to accomplish the same feat. 30 years as Vanessa Wimberly puts one down. 3:33 to go. We've also got that Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game. Earn what you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. And then we've got the IKORC Proud Union Home Play of the Game presented. Oh, we got a technical being called here. And I believe that's going to be against Nadia Clayton. Because we had a little bit of a scrum down there, and somebody, one of the players, I believe that was Zilkowski, that fell, and Nadia may have been kind of looking a little bit her way. So the technical being called on Clayton, and we'll see what the other officials are calling here. Coach Eppenthal asking for a little clarity. I don't know, what did you see, Isaiah?
I saw a good hustle play, and I'm not sure. You know, it's hard for us to tell up here in the nosebleeds, but it might have been something that we didn't catch that the refs were right on top of at the end of the day, and that's a great job by the officials.
You just don't want to say anything negative about officials.
Oh.
You're looking for calls later on down the road.
Hey, that's it. We're going to run into these officials sooner or later.
I see you. Sokowski with the ball. She's got room to run here. She goes up and she gets fouled up, and Anaya Bishop can't believe it.
And we talk about 1,000-point scorers. We would be remiss if we don't mention Ava Sokowski.
Yeah, that's right.
Recently reaching it this week with a 55-point outing at Morton High School. And she's one of 8, I believe, players on a very elite list of Crown Point players to make the 1,000-point milestone. So congrats to her.
You are 100%. Yeah, the 8th player in program history. And as we mentioned, Jessica Carruthers is the leading scorer in Crown Point history. I know nobody is shocked by that notion there, but 2,300 points, 2,300 plus for Jessica Carruthers. Pretty incredible.
Very, very incredible. And just the fact that she took her talents to Indiana University of Northwest, along with a couple girls from Lake Central and a couple girls from Crown Point, just shows, I mean, they're fighting it out right now, battling it out, I should say, but they might be teammates down the road, so you never know.
Yeah, so some bad blood that you might see in a high school game, you got to find out real quick. Oh, wait, that's my teammate now? Okay. And that happens in all sports, I feel like.
Yes.
As we approach the 3-minute left mark here in this one, and we'll have another foul called here, and there's Lexi Iwima into the game. I believe that foul is going to be called on Emma Charles. It is. And we've got another foul. I just can't get anything going here. Just too much physicality. And one of the things that a lot of officials will tell you is that sometimes if it doesn't truly affect the player, if it's not so blatant, sometimes officials will let certain things go. But, you know, and obviously when people are falling to the ground, that diverts their attention right in that area, so they kind of see everything that goes on there.
And the big part of that is nowadays you feel as if a lot of offensive players have learned to kind of play their role when it comes to selling those fouls. And, you know, it might not be the right thing to do, as they have implemented flopping charges and whatnot, but it is something that the refs probably do take into account when blowing the whistle.
I would have to imagine, and I can't help but wonder sometimes that some of the calls, as a big 3 hit down by Emma Charles, that's a big bucket here in the second half, and in this fourth quarter in particular. Makes it 53-39. We'll have a timeout taken. It'll be a full timeout. Let's keep it right here, though. I can't imagine what Coach Medjugorje's thinking, though, like thinking about, you know, how calls were done back in the 90s versus how calls are done now. It's obviously very, very different. So he's probably thinking, like, that's not a foul.
Right, yeah.
He used to be able to punch people, and it wasn't a foul.
Yes, and that's a part of the LeBron-MJ debate. You know, the physicality of the league back then and the physicality of the league now. I can only imagine that trickling down to the high school level, where you had a lot of more strength-based strength out on the court, as to where now you have a lot of speed-based strength. So it's going to look like a lot of these interactions, a lot of these physical plays look way more aggressive now than they would have looked back then.
That's a good point. I think that's actually a really excellent point made by you there. It's crazy how different, and now even on television, just the clarity that you can see and how things are done. Yeah, and just everything's out there now for people to see too. So back to action here. 2:34 left to go in this one here between Lake Central and Crown Point. Again, we got those awards to hand out. I think I was in the middle of the IKORCC read when the technical was called. So you got the proud Union Home play of the game presented by IKORCC, the Indiana-Kentucky Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters. A little coast-to-coast action for Vanessa Wimberly, but can't get the bucket to drop. That'd have been pretty impressive if She was able to get that one to go. At 5 fouls now is Lake Central here in this quarter. So that's one change. If you're kind of just tuned into high school basketball games here in Indiana for the first time this season, that's one of the things that's a little different than we've seen in the past. Normally it was 10 team fouls for a half, or 7 for the bonus and then 10 for the double bonus. Now at 5 fouls, you basically automatically get free throws, unless it's offensive, obviously. But once you get that 5 fouls, the other team gets to shoot free throws. And I forget the exact reason, as got more contact done here. We got a charge going to be taken against Iwema. And Lake Central fans are really starting to get irate. They're kind of keeping their mouths shut just a little bit, just for the sole fact that they're up on the scoreboard. So you can't complain too much, but sometimes you got to start thinking it as a coach. Well, at some point, if all the calls go against us, eventually the other team's going to creep back into this game, and you don't want that.
Yes, indeed. And, I mean, you can really look at this as like a 4-possession game right now, assuming that they would hit 4 threes. But still, that is 2 minutes is a lot of time.
It
so
is.
These calls definitely do still have great impact on the game.
And, of course, if you're Coach Seibert, you're thinking to yourself, well, I got to take advantage of this. The calls are going my way. I need to capitalize on this, and these girls need to get some scores going on our end. As Dubio comes out. And we looked at the training staff here from Lake Central. Coach Seibert says, yeah, you're going to get off the floor here. We have bumped her noggin a little bit there because she was rubbing her head at the end of it there. Driving baseline, kicking it across the floor, across the paint, I should say. Can't get it to go. Hart, really good effort and a second effort there that was impressive. So Wimberly will come across the timeline. She backs up. 1:35 to go, so 95 seconds left in this one. Lake Central kind of holding out here a little bit. Wimberly thought about the 3, shot fakes, then dribbles back out. She's such a terrific dribbler, and she's so aggressive driving to that paint. But, I mean, she is just always, it feels like, in control of everything when she has that ball in her hand.
Yeah, it's very impressive, and I'm sure she'll be playing basketball at the collegiate level solely because of her ability to slow the game down. And you could just tell by the way she plays.
Yeah, it has been fun to watch. She's in her 3rd season here at Lake Central, been part of the starting lineup since she was a freshman. Knocks that free throw down there. You know, I got to say, compliment, too. We talked about the fan base showing up here tonight, obviously, for the dignitaries and the student section. And, you know, right about now is probably when a lot of fans would start heading for the exits. But you know what? I'm not seeing too many people stirring right about now. They're all sitting waiting for this one to finish up as Malosnik gets the steal and takes it home. And that'll pretty much wrap it up here as we'll have a out-of-bounds play, and it'll be Crown Point basketball, but 58 seconds left to go. Really impressive just performance here by really both teams. I thought Crown Point did a really good job. They pulled it within 7 late in that game, and the Lake Central kind of just put on the Jets again. They kind of were forced to a little bit as Faith Harrison has checked in along with Milika Lukic. Her brother plays in a conference tournament tomorrow morning, I should say, she was telling me. Going up all the way to the window. Dubio's back on the floor. Really nice play there. Seems to be okay. Remember, they're going to bring this one out. Feel like they've got the W fairly secured here at the moment. Don't need to put up any crazy shots, waiting for them to get fouled, and she's just going to kind of a gamesmanship note there, just to kind of dribble this one out, not put any more points. Don't put the embarrassment logo on there.
Yes, indeed, and it's just been a great effort. I mean, great show of class by both teams, but especially Lake Central, and that's a credit to the coaching staff and really just the environment that they have these kids around, and where they understand we're going to win, but we're going to win with class, and that's both of these programs.
So Wimberly at the line. Can't connect on the first. couple of check-ins for both teams here. Again, Sophia Newell checks in for Crown Point. You got Jillian Brown out there, along with Emma Charles. Jaganis all there on the floor for Crown Point, waiting for that other number, which is Ray Holak. She's had a pretty impressive third quarter tonight, when we were able to knock down that second free throw. And for Lake Central, a couple other check-ins. We mentioned Harrison and Lukic. Long-range three shot, no good. Harrison with the rebound. Alexander Mizak in there for Lake Central, along with Kaylee Skirka as well. Her mom was part of that 93-94 team that recognized, 93-94 team recognized earlier today. And that will round things out. 57-41 your score. Lake Central gets the W. And we will step aside for just a moment. We'll have all the awards for you on the other side of the break. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
This box is small, like Pet Supplies Plus. This one is large, like a big box store. In each, Stu, has carefully hidden a toy. Question is, which dog will find it first? Ta-da! Moose, no! You were so close.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
This box is small, like Pet Supplies Plus. This one is large, like a big box store. In each, Stu, has carefully hidden a toy. Question is, which dog will find it first? Ta-da! Moose, no! You were so close.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Michael Brenner here along with Isaiah Gransberry. Your final here from Lake Central. Lake Central 57, Crown Point 51. Girls varsity basketball DAC showdown. Happy to have you with us here. Isaiah, it was a really incredible performance by Lake Central tonight for sure. And then Crown Point having a great game. I mean, really coming alive in that second half. Lake Central just kind of pulled it away in that fourth quarter. But Crown Point has a lot to look forward to down the road again.
Yes, and a lot of people forget this could be a regional matchup.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We saw a lot of good things from both sides, but especially Crown Point as well, just fighting hard, knowing the challenge they had across from them. So great job to them, but congrats to Lake Central on the win.
So 57-41 your final. Let's go ahead and name our award winners for tonight. We've got the Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. The Crowell Companies are proud to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court.
Yes, and so for the superhero of the game, we're going to go with Riley Malaznik. She was all over the court tonight, and really just highlighting a couple of her many plays she made was the opening tip, saving that pass, and then getting it to her teammate for the beginning bucket for LC, and then going down, getting the catch and shoot three. Then after that, she takes a charge, and so that set the tone early on in this game, putting them up about 7-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, really, like you said, set the tone, and kind of when there's that punch in the mouth right away, when you can get something like that early in the game, it just sets, like you said, the tone for the entire rest of the game. Let's take a look at the Proud Union Home Play of the Game presented by IKORCC, the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters.
I'm going to go with Bryn Leonard for this one. The IUN commit, she did a great job coming off the bench. I mean, many of our guests today talked about selflessness, and that on a championship team is the most important thing. And so, shout out to her coming off, knocking some big threes down in the third quarter when Crown Point was looking to attack back into this one, and she made it happen.
Absolutely. And our Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game. I just did that one, didn't I? Let's do our Proud... Which one did I just do? I just did the Proud Union Home Play of the Game, right? Yep. Let's do the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game. I skipped pages. I don't know what you mixed them up, didn't you?
You know what?
You did. That's
Riley Malaznik is our Blue Collar Player of the Game.
All right,
our play of the game, our Proud Union Home Play of the Game is going to be in the fourth quarter when Bryn Leonard made the hustle play to save the ball around the 6:45 mark in the fourth, and that led into a fast break bucket for Clayton to put LC up by 11, and then it was really just all dust and glamour from there.
So to recap, our Crowell Companies Landman Superhero of the Game was Riley Malaznik. We're good on that front. Bryn Leonard, your Boilermakers Local 374. And then the play you just heard from Isaiah is your Proud Union Home Play of the Game presented by IKORCC. Hey, my first broadcaster for basketball. I'll get the hang of this eventually. Our executive producer is Chris Ramirez. Operations manager is Rich Castillo. Your coordinating producer is Zach Miller. And our sports director is Jack Thiel. Your broadcaster tonight, myself, Michael Brenner, along with the great Isaiah Gransberry. And Isaiah, I don't know if anybody has said this to you on air yet, but congratulations to you, recently engaged.
Yes.
Congratulations
I'm engaged to Lake Central grad, so this night is just as special to me as it is to all of you.
There you go. All right, our producer, Justin Cole, and our cameraman today was Milton Johnson. A special thanks to Christina Diviak, who Coach Medjussi took time to talk to us about that 93-94 state championship team. And, of course, the coaches of Crown Point and Lake Central, respectively. That's Coach Chris Seibert and Joe Huppenthal. The ADs, Bill DeRula and Chris Enyart, the athletic directors at Crown Point and Lake Central. And, of course, you, the fans, on Facebook, YouTube, regionsports.com, and IHSAA. Now, before I lose my hearing to this great performance by the Lake Central Pep Band for the last time, 57-41 your final. You've been tuned in to Game Night of the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.